What's up, guys, and welcome back to another edition of Competitive Edge Podcast. So today, super excited because one of my friends that I got to meet almost 2.5 years ago, as we were talking about this at an event, has just taken off in the real estate space. Sean has not only built an agent group of over 1,200 agents, but in a short period of time, we're talking about over 20 states that he's built out. And today I want to know, okay, how did Sean build this? Who's the targeted avatar? How do you build real estate in a market that we all know the past couple of years has been a little different than the past decade plus? And then where are they going and seeing the future that's there? So if you're in mortgage, real estate, financial services, you guys are want to tune in, because if you're building a team, you're building a personal brand, you're doing all of these things to win today, Sean's already done it. So I'm excited to bring on Sean Miku. You guys tune in, take some notes. Here we go. Welcome, my friend.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Long overdue. We should have sat down a while ago.
Yeah.
But you've been busy.
We both have.
So you're telling me before we start, 1,200 agents.
Yep.
And we'll get to like where it is now. Like, let's go back a little bit.
Yeah.
When you founded Simply Home, what was the original vision that you had?
You know, the original vision hasn't strayed too much. Obviously, you make little pivots and adjustments as you go, but the original vision has remained intact, which is to make real estate simple for both consumers and agents. And you know, the perspective changes, the technology changes. There's all these modifications that take place, but you know, we're still on that same path, and it just takes longer and costs more than you ever expect.
Always does somehow. Let's look at what makes real estate complex as you look at it, and you had this idea. Let's simplify, because I think about that in mortgage.
Yeah.
Like, let's simplify this.
Yeah. Well, you know, right now, our industry has been under attack for, as you mentioned, 3.5, 4 years. It's been a rough ride. And then we get these huge corporate conglomerates that go out and make it more challenging for the consumer. For what purpose? I'm not sure. I guess personal greed or gain or whatever. But, you know, the consumer today is in a worse spot than they were 3 years ago. Not just circumstantially, financially, affordability, et cetera, but from a convenience component, where you've got now Compass is hosting listings exclusively on Redfin, and so-and-so's only on Zillow, and so-and-so's only on homes.com. And so now the consumer's having to go to like 3 different portals to be able to see all the homes that are available to them. And that's not simple. That's the opposite of simple from my perspective. So, you know, we're on a pathway to really make it easy. And our vision the entire time has been, it's already very expensive for the average American to purchase a home. They already generally don't have enough reserves for closing costs or all the things that the ancillary costs that come with it. Then you go a relocation, which is a vast majority of the business today, is that the locals in every local market across the country have been priced out of their own markets for the most part. And so you get people who are moving from across the country, and they got to now factor in the costs of exorbitant air travel, car rentals, hotels. Everything's outrageous. Yeah. My family and I went to Colorado a few months ago, and they wanted $3,200 for a Jeep for 7 days through National or Enterprise, one of them.
Wow.
And I'm like, this is crazy. Like, how do people afford this, right? And so our vision has been to create a hybrid real estate brokerage that is the benefit of the cloud for agents. They get all the tech, free healthcare, all these different things, combined with brick and mortar. Because I believe that relationship, especially with AI taking off the way that AI is taking off, the most important thing is this. The ability to sit down, have a face-to-face conversation, fellowship, et cetera. And so we want to empower people to do that. Now, our vision has been, since I started in 2018, to take the company public and to take our brick and mortar locations and turn them into home stores that'll be immersive home shopping rooms. So instead of that family having to fly from Los Angeles to Miami, they can walk into their local home store in LA, immersively walk through any home they want to see, shop it, buy it, close on it with retina scan closings, private mortgage, et cetera. Nice. So that's what we're working towards, and we got a long way to go.
Oh man, okay, a lot we can talk about there. I'd love to know what you've learned now. You got 1,200 agents out there. The market has been shifting. We were talking about this earlier, even with as recent as some of the things going on with the war and all that stuff. How do you lead with all this technology noise? Yeah, 1,200 people, all these 20 plus states, 22?
Yeah, 22 at the moment.
What are you seeing as a CEO that the teams are looking for, and how do you lead them through that to keep them on task and aligned?
Yeah, what I'm seeing is more distrust from agents and team leaders to the company. So, and it's not just our company, it's just what our industry has done to them, whether it's, claiming ownership of their leads or meddling in their processes or whatever. And I believe that people should have the autonomy to do it how they want and plug into us whenever they need. And so that's how we're really focused on it. We're not trying to do a one size fits all. We're realizing that everyone has their own vision, their own goals, their own expectations, and we're trying to cater to that.
I love that. It's very similar to what we do on the mortgage side. As people ask, it's like, man, if you were to look at 5 different branches, you would see 5 potentially very different models and how they set it up. That's great.
Yeah, whatever works for them.
Go build it.
Yeah.
As you've been opening these markets, what are you seeing now in 2026 that maybe is different? Because we're kind of post all this NAR settlement stuff and all of that, right? Like we have confusion still. And then you just, as a consumer, I think about, like, I know enough to be dangerous, but then you go, man, there's a lot of noise, and then to filter through it, what are agents battling today to earn that trust with consumers and really to help them make a right decision?
Yeah. One, when you live in the bubble, the conversations in the bubble echo in that echo chamber. Yeah. And so for all of us in the industry, that's been the conversation for 3 years now, really, well, longer, but the typical consumer, I don't think cares. And I experienced kind of firsthand as an agent, when I'm a millennial, my bad. And so many people had so many negative things to say about millennials, right? And they're like, oh, the millennials are going to just completely destroy this country. They're so lazy. They're so whatever. And now the millennials say that about the next generation. And it's just a generational curse, right? Start at the top and let it trickle. But what I found interesting is anytime I worked with a millennial client, they had no interest in the do-it-yourself method ever. They were like, I do my job well. I want you to do your job well. Yeah. And that was kind of the mindset. And whether that's because we grew up at the transition of technology, really, when computers really became what they are, when the internet became what it is, when you went from a cashier to a self-checkout, like whatever that route is, there's some sort of thing that people are going away from technology and saying, yeah, cool, we'll embrace it to this aspect, but we really want to just embrace humanity. And so I think most people are in that same boat. They're looking at the affordability challenges, the complexities of the industry as a whole, the complexities of shopping, the complexities of financing, all these different components, and going, this is too much. And you get this argument because there's one guy who goes viral in Florida. It's always Florida, talking about AI. Oh, yeah. The AI FSBO guy. Yeah. And you see that, and they're like, okay, well, so I ran this thing through chat. Okay, what does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. In fact, I read an article right before coming here this morning that MIT conducted a study that shows that OpenAI and others are, there's something with the AI that is too agreeable, and within like 3 to 4 chat questions, it agrees so strongly that the user believes false information is 100% truth. Yes. And so as that continues to take on a life of its own, it's going to be interesting to see if people start to push away from it or if they kind of climb into the delusion.
Hey guys, it's Brian here. I hope you are enjoying the show. By the way, if you're an entrepreneur or a solopreneur looking to grow your personal brand, make a bigger impact, maybe increase your leads and grow your revenue, let's help you get started today by connecting up with my friends over at the Brand Builders Group. You've heard me talk about them, but if you're new here, this is definitely the first step to get you started in turning your reputation into revenue. Head over to freebrandcall.com/Brian Covey. Again, to set up your free brand call, go to freebrandcall.com/Brian Covey to set up a free strategy call with one of the team at Brand Builders, and they will dive into your specific goals for how you want to grow your personal brand. I can't wait to hear how it goes. Okay, so I got to ask, since you brought it up, because I agree with this and we've seen it. You can run examples, and whether it's Claude, chat, whatever, you'll see, wow, they really support my opinion. It's this great confidence being built.
Yeah.
How are you using any of that technology today with growing team, vast markets you've got to serve, probably pulled in a lot of directions? Is there anything that's helping you stay organized and execute?
Yeah, so the largest impact, I think, was the segment of the industry, or not the industry, but the world that didn't think that they would be impacted first, since the software developers. Like, they've all put themselves out of a job very quickly.
Yeah.
And so we are using it heavily on software development, correcting any issues that we have in existing software. We're doing a lot of breaking away from third parties and going full IP software that's just built to our specific needs. And we have our team utilize it, core staff utilize it. It does a great job for reporting.
Yeah.
Our whole database and all that stuff is wonderful. But I mean, on Saturday, I asked it a question. I was like, well, I don't do that on Saturday. It's Tuesday. I'm like, it's not Tuesday. It's literally Saturday. How do you not know what day of the week it is in your computer? So, it has its downsides. But it has been a huge increase in productivity with our core staff, specifically like email. I have it do my email.
Oh, I gotta love that.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Nobody wants to be in email.
No, I hate email.
Yeah. Okay, so you're using...
I use Fixer.
Fixer, okay.
Yeah.
That's what I figure. I'm always just curious, because you hear all these things, and there's a lot of noise. I'm like, what actually works?
Yeah, we use Claude as a team.
Yeah.
And I use Fixer for that. Okay. I use Aki for my calendar.
Okay.
And others, but that's the core.
Okay. Let's talk about some team building, because 22 states, 1,200 agents. I know I've said that a few, but I'm always just curious, how do you pick when and where to go, like a team, and discern? Because I know we both probably have this, like,
yeah,
who do we bring on?
Well, it's shifted.
Yes, that's what I want to know, because I would love to know how your criteria and your avatar, like, how do you navigate that?
Yeah, so obviously we started here in Nashville. We grew the core in Nashville until 2023. We didn't start opening states until 2024. Okay. So we grew to about 500 agents in Nashville, and then we said, hey, let's go open up new markets. We did that. That's what's taken us to the 1,200 in those 21 additional states. The initial metric was one human being raised their hand, and I was like, let's go.
It's open.
And I think right before we started this, we were talking about how I will never start at zero again, because it's incredibly challenging. I can start at zero. I can build it from zero. I started with 4 agents and $30,000 coming off of food stamps. I was actually still on food stamps probably when I started the company, and that whole background. And so I know that I can do it. I just don't want to do it anymore. Yeah. And so we, late 24, early 25, adopted a new thing of like, okay, well, if you and 25 other people raise their hands, then we'll open the state. And that's kind of become that metric. And so we've shifted pretty significantly, where we were having one-off conversations with agent X, and that was it. And now all of our conversations, my conversations, are almost exclusively teams and independent brokerages that are between 15 to 150 agents. Okay. And it's interesting to see that change. Yeah. Because I saw an interview a few years ago where Tamir from Real said, it's been interesting watching our company transition from single agent conversations to teams. And I'm like, oh wait, I'm at that phase now. I recognize a sign that I'm on the right path. So it has its opening up new states. The biggest challenge is the bureaucracy. Every state has its compliance things that are different, its licensing things that are different, whatever that is. And thank God that's not my department, because I'm a visionary. I can be an operator, but I can never be a bureaucrat. So
amen. Me too.
I hired him.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I love that, because it is good to know what stage you're in. And I think about that too. It's like, you're very aware of those things. And as a visionary, you almost have to be like, where are we today? Where are we going to go? Because you mentioned the goal in 4 years, where you want to take the company from now. What do you wish you had known in those first few years when you did start with 4 agents, almost at zero? If you could look back and somebody's going, hey, I want to build a team, or I want to expand. They want some Sean wisdom of, man, what do you wish you had done or known?
What do I wish I had done or known? I think I wish I had been more present in that moment instead of trying to be where I am today. Because there's so much joy that comes with those struggles. You get in it, it's not fun, it's challenging, you show up, there's a problem. But if you're always looking forward to like, I just want to be over here, it's good to keep an eye on where you're going, but the days just, and then next thing you know, you're like, wow, I just missed out on all these memories, these lessons, these whatever, because I was not present.
It's crazy. I had a coach just tell me that, because coming off my first year, what we were building, starting at zero, the crazy move that both of us made. And he made a comment about you're going to miss some of these moments of the newness, the wins, the successes, because over time it's just going to be what you expect. And you're just going to want to get there faster and do it. And I was like, I know it's true, but in the moment it's hard. So I don't know if you have any advice if somebody's going, okay, like I know I wish I had been more present the first year, because I look and go, that was 12 months?
Oh yeah, I've completely lost track of time.
Like what just happened? Anything you do to stay more in the moment, stay more present?
I have been instructing my team to set really strong boundaries and slow down. Because they get in their own way. They'll trip over their own 2 feet trying to rush to solve the problem, and then it slows everything down. So I'm like, let's just slow it down. And then my head of accounting last night, actually, I asked her a question about a report from last month, and she was walking out the door to go home. She's like, oh, let me just go to I was like, nope, no ma'am. And I pulled her office door closed. I said, go home, be with your family, turn off your stupid phone, don't look at it, don't answer any messages, don't answer any calls, do nothing, we'll deal with it tomorrow. Because you have to, because they won't, unfortunately, I'm a workaholic. It is what it is. I can't change who I am, but because we're a startup culture, because we're a small, lean team that does this, everyone tends to try to match my energy and my workaholicness. But unfortunately, if you're not wired that way, it's detrimental to you, right? It's detrimental to your family. It's detrimental to all these different things. And so even I've started setting boundaries. Like when I get home at night, I'm literally leaving my laptop and my work phone in my car, in the garage. I don't even bring it in. Because if I do bring it in, I'll sit on the couch and I'll work until 2:30 in the morning. And then I'll get up at 6:30 and I'll go do it again for another 18 hours, So it's really just, I think that's probably what I would change. Is though you're trying to outwork the guy that's ahead of you, they already have a 5-year head start. So just show up, work, do your thing, disciplined every single day. And the results will happen. And then at some point, the guy ahead of you will either keep winning or might trip and fall. But either way, there's enough for you to win without them falling. So just stay focused on you.
That's right. There's enough to go around. I've realized that everyone, like, with all the moves, all the changes, there's people that need you to serve them. And I think about the agents today and taking all that. What are you advising, or what are you seeing those top agents today that are, regardless of what the market's doing, regardless of what's in the news, how are they succeeding today?
So we 3 weeks ago started a one deal series for April, because I felt like if I was feeling the negative ramifications of headlines and everything that was happening, I know that the agents that I have the opportunity to serve are feeling it to some capacity. And so I wanted to help them stay focused and present and aligned with just get one deal in April. And if you already have a deal, let's just get you one more deal. And that whole thing has been based on human connection, just going back to the things that actually matter to people, that actually work. And so that's been my direction, has been be present, show up to these people, show up in their lives, not to sell them a house, show up in their lives because that's what relationship is.
That's right.
It's just showing up. It's being there. It's being a resource. It's being somebody who's a good listener. It's not always about you. And I think in real estate, people, they get so much commission breath that they just go and they attack it from the wrong mindset. But you make that one little switch of like, I'm here to serve people. I'm here to have human connection with people. And that's all the people who are winning right now are doing. They're out there, they're with their people, they're celebrating their past clients, they're staying in touch with their sphere, but they're not like pushy. They know that you're in real estate.
Yeah.
But do they know that you're a human that actually cares about them? That's up to you and your actions. And so that's what we've been talking about. And it's been a resounding success up to this point. I mean, we have 700,000 people left real estate last year.
That's what you're saying.
And it's insane. Wow. Only 100,000 realtors made over $100,000 last year. That's it. And so when you see those statistics, you realize not only has the real estate market been incredibly challenging, but people are focusing on the wrong things, because there's always going to be transactions taking place. But the people who are winning time and time and time again, over and over every single year, are doing the same things. They're doing open houses, they're following up, they're sending handwritten note cards, they're checking in as a human being, not as an automated bot. They're not drip campaigning people, they're calling them, they're setting up lunches and dinners and face-to-face interactions, and it's really not that complicated.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to go a little deeper on this one, because I was having a conversation actually yesterday about this and the difference between a human actually calling someone, reaching out, doing these things you're talking about, versus we've all gotten very comfortable. People are looking for like the quick fix. How do I get this AI tool to send out all my automation? It's just going to write my content. It's going to call my people. Yep. It's going to create a AI avatar to do my videos. Like it's going to be me.
Yeah. Commoditize yourself out of business. Go for it.
Okay. So I know, I want to get your take on this, because I think we're probably on the same sheet of music with this, and I'm looking at that, and I've got some thoughts on it, but I want to hear what you think.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's simply that. I mean, if you're relying upon replicating yourself so that you don't have to have the conversations, they're going to go have the conversations with those who will. And you just became a commodity, and you just replaced yourself, just like software developers did with coding and whatever else, and go find a different industry.
Yeah, we were talking about this, and it's funny you say that, because it's like, if you could be replaced just with a tech version of you, an AI agent version of you, what means the person just down the road who's just an actual human being that actually shows up to an event and sees them, like, you're getting replaced quick. And I've seen you've been on the road too with this, which I love. You're leading by example. I've seen you out with all of your markets.
All the time.
Yeah, you're out all the time. So what's the importance of that, and what are you seeing? Do people want that craving?
Absolutely.
Okay, because that's what I'm feeling.
Yeah, it's weird, because I hate the pedestal, right?
Yeah.
And I hate when people put me on a pedestal, but as a leader of a company that you've created, people will naturally put you there.
That's right.
Regardless of if you feel entitled to it or not. And imposter syndrome is a thing I struggle with, and will probably always struggle with.
Yeah.
But it's the proximity. And it's also the fact that you showed up means you truly care. It's not just words, right? Because me and 10 other companies can say people first. But if I'm the only one that flies in to hang out with my people and gets to know my people from a personal perspective, then I'm the one who actually lives people first. And I don't just say it as some buzzword or tagline for marketing purposes. And so, I did a trip 2 weeks ago, and we did a meeting in Dallas, an event in Tucson, an event in Vegas on the first day. And then we did an event in Portland, an event in Seattle the next day. And then we flew in for dinner to our team in Detroit and came back home. And so it was just bang, bang, bang. But I had FaceTime with probably 160 of my people.
Wow.
And that means something, because literally every single time I go, I touch that market, I hang out with them, I answer any questions, I get to know them as human beings, we talk about their kids and what's going on in their world. I leave that market and we'll have 5 people on board, 10 people on board, whatever. And so it's a tangible impact on growth for us. That's not why I do it. I do it because it's genuinely what I believe people deserve in business. And one of the reasons why I started the company was I was at a large company and I was a number. And I hated being a number. And it is what it is. And maybe that's my own ego that said that. Yeah. But I believe that I could create a company that I would know the individuals that are within my company, those who take the time to get to know me, by the way.
Sure.
I can't be everywhere.
Yeah.
But I can get to know them, and they don't feel that same way that I felt. But they can still be supported. They can have access. They can be, whatever. So, my whole company has my cell phone number. you need me, shoot me a text.
Yeah.
Don't call me, I'll never answer, but shoot me a text and I'll answer eventually.
Yes. At some point we'll break through.
Right.
But I love that you're accessible and you're out in the market, because the only way to really hear what's going well.
Yep.
What are we struggling with? What are you guys seeing?
Yeah.
And like you were telling me the other day of some of your stats you keep up with, like homes sold per day and how that changes and evolves. And if you don't have a pulse, you don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
And it's tough to lead from. What do you use to kind of help guide you as we head into really what should be a busy season, the spring and summer?
Seems like it.
Yep.
It's been a busy start to the week.
Yes. We're on a good trajectory now with it. So what do you use to kind of leading indicators or things that you watch for?
So I have a lot of conversations. I've set up a report inside of Claude that goes into our database. On Monday, it gives me a list of agents who are newly licensed with us in the last 30 days, and I call them directly to introduce myself and welcome to the company. On Tuesdays, I call agents who have a closing in the last 10 days and congratulate them. On Wednesdays, I call agents who have been dormant and haven't sold anything in the last 60 days. On Thursdays, I call top producers, and on Fridays, I call 3 random agents just to check in. And so I have a lot of conversations. I get pulse and I get feedback from them. I talk to our brokers on a regular basis who are in these markets, specifically the markets that are leading indicator markets, Vegas, Phoenix, Miami, and get their feedback on what they're seeing. I have a Bloomberg TV in my office that's literally only on Bloomberg, so I can see what's happening globally. And then we have our dashboard of reporting, and I just know my trends and I know my numbers. And I probably shouldn't know my numbers to the depth that I do, but I know where we were in 2020 versus where we are today. And I told you a few weeks ago when interest rates fell into the 5s, we were sitting at 40 houses sold per day. And I was like, that's incredible, because the last 3 years we've been so suppressed to like 16. And then the war started and it just bottomed out again. And I'm like, golly, every time we get a break, we get kicked in the face again. This is terrible. And then the ceasefire was announced, and I mean, literally we're back to 40 houses a day right now. So, I think what we've seen for so long is such sideline demand for 3 years. And now the reality is interest rates are never going back to 3 unless there's some catastrophic global event again that takes place. It's not going to happen. And so people are going to stop sitting on the sideline. They're going to go, you know what, I got to make this move because life's going on and I'm sick of X. Yeah. So
we're seeing the same and having those tough conversations and telling people, here's what it is. And the longer you wait, like, we can give you data to help you. I think that's where the conversations that you're having is so impactful, because if you don't have them, you don't know. What's your take on agents going forward? Is there anything they should be learning, new skills, or what's going to separate them in the future?
The new skills they need to learn are the old skills that have been forgotten.
Okay, so tell me about what
I feel like a broken record, but it's like,
I'm with you on this too.
But it's crazy, because as everyone is going towards let me tech myself to death, it's just learn body language, learn how to shake somebody's hand, how to look them in the eye, how to have a conversation, how to not be awkward. Like, just like learn these basic human functions that people have forgotten, frankly, in many ways. And it's, I'm telling you, I'm very much of the belief when the entire world is going this way, I'm going to go the opposite. It's how I've always operated. When everybody was fearful at the beginning of COVID, that's when I slammed my foot on the gas pedal to throw the throttles forward on growth, and it worked. And everything that's happening, yes, use AI, but being an AI-empowered, AI-enabled agent, not an AI-replaced agent. And
love it.
It's where we are.
It's funny because we were just talking about some of those skills. Some people call them soft skills, call them all these other things. I'm like, if you can't have a conversation, you can't reach out to people, you can't, to your point, be in person with people and build trust, it's going to be tough.
It's going to be a long road.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm beating my poor staff over the head too, because they're just like, I'm like, hey, we've got such and such has an issue in such and such a place. And I get an email that goes, I'm like, pick up the phone.
Yes.
Why is picking up the phone so hard for people?
Why is it so awkward?
Like, I'm not asking you to cold call.
Yeah.
Because that terrifies me. I'm not a cold caller. But I'm simply asking you to pick up the phone, have a conversation with someone, make sure there's an understanding specifically when delivering news that could be construed as negative. It is so much easier to deliver negative news in a simple conversation where you've got tonality and everything else, right? And so it's just interesting to see, and it's not just a younger generation that's falling into the trap. It is a older generation that is definitely falling into the trap.
Yeah.
Of, oh, well, this makes life easy. Does it make life easy, or is it making you feel good? Because this MIT report that says that it's making people delusional. In fact, they said that 12 people were put in an institution, mental institution, last year because they were so delusional from the results of their conversations with ChatGPT and how it made them feel that they were then arguing with reality to the point that they couldn't get back on the right track of what's real and what's not. It's kind of a terrifying thought when you start thinking about it.
You get down that rabbit hole and you realize like this is still a robot.
Yeah,
just think about it.
A robot that's been trained by people using sources from the internet, which we know the internet's 100% accurate all the time. Right? I'm pretty sure every time I've had a sinus infection, WebMD said I should have died 12 times, right?
Yeah. You go there, you go down this, you go, I have diagnosed myself with all these things. You got to get to the doctor.
Yeah.
So as you look forward in recruiting, I think this is going to be for mortgage, real estate, and all that, attracting the right people. You've got proof of concept now. You got people that are here. Is there anything you're doing different to attract that higher quality agent, the bigger teams, and how do you navigate that?
Yeah. So a few years ago, we won Inc. 5000 a couple of years in a row, and my ego felt good, and so we bragged about being fastest growing, whatever. And then next thing you know, every company is the fastest growing in some sector, format, or award, or whatever. And so I decided, shameless plug, I've been flying airplanes for 21 years, and it's been a very stormy environment that we've been navigating through. And if I'm flying an airplane through a line of thunderstorms, you don't do it recklessly, you don't do it quickly, you do it meticulously, intelligently, and strategically. Yeah. And so 2 years ago, we really shifted that mindset away from speed to smart strategic growth. And that resonates with people because they're sick of the constant speed. In a world in which we already reminisce on the slow days of summer of our childhood and wonder where the time went. And so that was kind of that first transition. The second thing that we've always done a good job of is we have a blacklist of people we will not work with under any circumstance in any market because of who they've proven to be. And so, we're very selective of our culture. And the third component on who we're attracting is understanding, one, to fire quickly if we do let a bad apple in, because that's a really dangerous game. But also understanding that though we all had a day one, a lot of people who are on their day one don't have the work ethic or the discipline necessary to get the results, specifically in a market like this. And so we're making sure that our brokers are having the right conversations when discussing kind of like, what are those drivers? If somebody's getting in and they're like, oh, I'm going to be part-time for, a while and there's no real motivation, probably not going to be a great fit. Because what I don't want to do is I don't want to water down our company results and go, well, we used to sell a half a deal per agent per month statistically. Now we sell 0.3 because nobody's selling anything. And so it's really been a matter of identifying who works really well within our organization and then going out and figuring out what that avatar looks like and targeting them. And so we use a software that has really good insight into all of our competitors' data, and we've got using Claude again. I have it running a report every single day, and it finds 100 agents that match our avatar, and it auto sends it into our GoHighLevel, and it does a personalized text reach out. It's not some spammy mass text thing. It's like literally referencing something that they would know we took the time to research and we send those out and let our growth team take it from there.
Okay, I love that. Let's break that down a little further because people probably listen to that. They're like, whoa, okay, Sean, you got Claude running over here. You got an agents list over here. You got this. I think that's cool because that's the first time I've heard anybody with an actual system that they're using these and it's connected. So you start with Claude, then you move it into, I guess you have some reports.
So we use Claude Cowork.
Yeah.
So Cowork is kind of like Claude's response to OpenClaw. Yeah. OpenClaw already came and went.
Yeah, that was fast.
It was quick. So you go Claude Cowork and you say, hey, this is the tool that we're using. This is the avatar that I want to focus on. And it goes and you give it the login information to that tool. Yep. And it goes and it opens it up. And it opens up the sidebar and it goes to the search and goes to the filters and creates the search. Then it saves that as part of its workflow. And then I have it mark those people as contacted inside of there so it doesn't ever duplicate. And it finds that specific grouping wherever they are in the country. And then it gives me a CSV report. And then I trained it exactly how to speak to those people in that personalized text. So then we take the CSV file and we go into GoHighLevel, where we've got the phone numbers approved through Twilio and everything else. And we upload that CSV file. It adds all those users to the database, adds the contact tag that then triggers the workflow. And it sends out that initial text. And then upon response, it'll pause and let a human connect. Yeah. And if they don't respond, we've built out a 90-day follow-up campaign that's tied to the data that we've downloaded and everything else. So we're not just like one and doneing. Yeah. We're going for that first reach out. But it's also the way that the text is written. It should be getting us probably a 40 to 60% response rate.
Fantastic.
And then we take that and just dive in. All we need is an appointment. Our closing rate's about 90%. So we get that appointment, we're like, all right, cool, new agent. You know, so my expectation for it, if we're working to our full strengths and capacities, I think we'll probably add 5 to 7 agents per day from this outreach. This one spoke on the wheel of growth. If we suck at it, I'll let you know. We just started it this week, but if we suck at it, it'll be 1 to 2.
You can always tweak it.
Yeah,
but I love that you're going in. And this is where hopefully the listeners go, okay, am I doing anything remotely like this to scale my business and then bring myself back into it? Because most of us don't want to make the cold call. Yeah. But you get the warm outreach, you get that, you get the appointment. Now we can start having the conversations.
Yeah. My alternative was I could pay somebody offshored and have them manually do it. But if I'm going to have to babysit something, I'd rather babysit tech.
And then you can build it at scalable. Hey guys, we'll plug this in, we'll replicate it, and
because I could pull 1,000 names a day too. Yeah. You know, when we pulled up that search, we're only in 62 MLSs. Okay. So I only have 62 MLSs worth of data in that software right now. It still pulled 127,000 agents that fit our avatar on that. So you know, it's like it's the start of it is it's a numbers game, and then you decouple from a numbers game based off personal interaction interview to determine if they're actually going to be a good fit.
I love it. Okay, before we wrap, I got the question some of us get, right? It's an old question, but is it a good time to buy right now? If somebody were to ask you this, I always love people's answers. How would you respond, or how would you encourage your team to?
Simply ask, what is your objective? Because that answer is determined based off of your objective. If you're looking to buy an investment property and you want to flip it in 2 years, probably not. But if you're looking through the right lens of an investor and you're saying, I'm going to hold this for 7 to 10 years and this is a stepping stone to a bigger plan, then of course, because there's no better time than this one. If we all had crystal balls, we'd all be billionaires laying on a beach somewhere probably, you know?
Yeah, if we could look back, I always go, man, that was the time. Oh, I could have bought this stock, bought that, you know, in that market.
I saw a friend of mine sent me a screenshot the other day of an original Apple where Steve Jobs was trying to find investors into Apple. Wow. And the notes were written on there, and it said something along the lines of, outlook is too optimistic, not interested in this investment opportunity. And can you imagine the remorse on that decision?
Wow.
You know, don't let opportunity pass you by.
We don't know. Okay, last one before we wrap. What are you currently reading, working on, like in your own personal growth and development?
Personal growth and development. So this is something that I commend you on because you're amazing at it. And
I have a lot to learn.
And I condemn myself on, same letters, different meaning, on a regular basis. The latest book that I am reading, I cannot remember the name of it right now. It's a red cover. It's literally on my desk. That's how good I'm doing.
It's okay. Do you remember the author? I may even help.
I don't.
We're going to add it later. And we're guys, this was the book that you're reading. So tell me something you've taken.
It's a team building book that will help us on the leadership stuff because, I'm a self-made guy. I started with 4 agents. I was a rookie at the beginning. I'm naturally an introvert, but I got in to learn how to become an extrovert.
Yeah.
And when it comes to leadership, I think I'm grateful that I have great mentors who have taught me how to become a great leader. And I'm grateful that my parents allowed me to become a great leader when I was a child. But, there's always things that are different. I think I'm a great leader and a terrible manager. I expect people to manage themselves, and that's an unrealistic expectation in today's world. Yeah. And so what I've started to do from a hiring perspective is I've done a better job of hiring entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. They don't want to go take the risk on their own, but they're fully capable of doing it without me. And so they're doing a phenomenal job of taking their division, their department, and scaling it and building the systems, the processes, the workflows, the documented SOPs, everything that's necessary for that success. And from that perspective, I'm kind of removing myself from any day-to-day management oversight of any individual employees and only relying on those entrepreneurs to manage their own people.
Yeah.
And so that's been a big shift for me, is because I won't micromanage people, and then I will resent people because they're not doing their job and they're getting paid for it. Yeah. And it just is this vicious cycle that's unfair to all parties involved. And so I'm trying to do more in that direction of just how to be a CEO, because I've never been one. Mm-hmm. And how do I prepare for the world, the markets, et cetera, when we do go public in a few years? Yeah. Because that's a very different type of leadership than what I've been accustomed to. I'm used to that grassroots leadership, whereas that's just not it, So more of that, and then I'm working on doing more things like this, and so I'm grateful for this opportunity because I suck at social media, as you're fully aware.
We're gonna get you there,
and one step at a time.
Well, you did great. You're on with our friends at Housing Wire. You're speaking more. You're doing this, so this is gonna be awesome. And we're gonna get this out in front of people because they need to know who you are and what you're doing. I say if they don't know, they can't find you.
We've been a best kept secret, partially on purpose.
Yeah.
When all the NAR suit stuff was happening, I didn't want to get sucked into that. So we're like, let's kind of stay under the radar. And we stayed barely under the radar. I think we did 1.8 billion and the cutoff was 2. And so we're like, all right, cool. Whew.
Just made it.
But now it's we have the best offer in the marketplace. Yeah. And I'm friends with CEOs at other large real estate companies. They're wonderful people, and I love what they're accomplishing. I love their success. But we have plenty of ours to go create. So that's what we're doing.
I'm excited to see what you do next.
Thank you.
We'll be supporting you through. So, guys, this has been an awesome episode. Hopefully you listen through, and whether you're a founder, you've got your own team, wherever you are in that growth cycle, listen back to what Sean was sharing and knowing where you are in that cycle and looking at those patterns that are there and to know what's ahead of you is going to help guide you. And there's several things I'm going to go back to. I'm okay, we can implement this now. We can do that now. Where are we now? Do we have these KPIs in order? And so it's just a great way. When you have these conversations, that kept coming up as a buzzword. How many conversations are you having? And what's the quality of your conversations? I always believe the quality of your conversations will lead to the quality of your life. So go out there, have better conversations. Make sure you follow Sean. We'll put his information in there. And then if you need a real estate agent, you're buying, selling, doing anything, put a plug in. Reach out to Simply Home. Get them connected up with you. Thanks for tuning in. Share this with a friend. Leave us a review. 5 stars is always awesome. And then also reach out. I read every one of the DMs, everything you guys send. So reach out if anything resonated or you've got a question from the show. Reach out to us. I'm happy to help you. See ya.